It's natural to feel fear when we do something new or different. It's our brain's way of reacting to new and unfamiliar situations. Dr. Samra Zafar is here to share more on the science behind it and how we can take control of it. That is the point of this conversation. Good morning, Dr. Zafar.
Good morning, Kim. Thank you so much for having me again. It's such a pleasure to join.
Likewise. So let's break it down for us. What happens to our brain and body when we feel fear?
So if you think of our brain, you can think of our brain in like sort of two major systems, okay? So one is like our emotional brain, which is our limbic system. And that is where we first receive and feel a stimulus. So actually, when we have a stimulus, something that makes us feel scared, we see a piece of news that is distressing about some state in the world. We see an email that makes our heart pound. You know, those are all emotional responses. So that stimulus actually moves through our limbic system, which is our emotional brain. And that part of our brain is lightning quick. It's like that our ancestors, spotting danger and running away. So when that happens, our brain moves into this rigid responses, which is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And for our rational brain, which is sort of our prefrontal cortex, it takes a while for it to wake up and take control. And that is the brain that takes into account the emotion, which is a piece of data, but also other things like reality. What is the reasoning behind this email or this stimulus that I just saw or this piece of news? What can I do? So it takes into account all of those things and then informs us with decisions that we can take that are meaningful and to us and aligned with our values. So in the beginning, when we get into this really quick emotional response, that is a very natural response. That is where fear comes from. And it's really important to sit with that. And the great thing is that the pathways between our emotional and our rational brains are highly plastic. They're highly flexible. And with practice, we can actually take control over our fear responses. So our emotions don't own us, but we own our emotions.
Right. So when we are in the moment, when we are scared and going through those 4 F's that you mentioned, how do we choose courage in the moment?
So I like to break it down. I like to break everything down into simple things, simple formulas, simple steps that you can remember, right? And when it comes to these responses, there are mainly 3 main things that I like to tell my patients and my audiences. One is to give it a pause, sit with the emotion and don't fight it. Because when we fight something, it comes back stronger. So emotional suppression actually leads to emotional amplification later on. It's like that chocolate cake that's in the fridge and you keep ignoring it. And guess what? Then you eat it a week later and you're like, oh my God, now I just had the whole thing. So compassionate acceptance is the first step. Accepting the response, noticing it without judgment. Number 2 is honest reflection. Be curious about that emotional response. What is it telling you? You know, maybe it's telling you something about your values. Like if you're turning on the news and seeing something that is making you filled with rage, that is a signal to what is important to you. We don't have emotional responses to things that we don't care about. So be curious. What is it telling you? What is it telling you about yourself, about your values, about others? Why is it causing this? Maybe it's coming from something from your past. Maybe it's a trigger, or maybe it's a glimmer that it's making you feel joy. So be honest and curious towards it. And third, and I think where it all comes to play, is courageous action. So what action is going to bring me towards my values and what action is going to take me away from my values? And then you can choose your response. And that happens with that pause, with that reflection, and then saying, yes, I am afraid, but I'm going to do this anyway because this means something to me. So courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is, yes, I'm terrified. I can sit with that fear. I can take it with me, and I'm going to choose to do something, even if I'm afraid of it, because I believe in it. So we can do hard things.
Okay,
exactly.
Pardon me. Sorry, Dr. Zafar, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on this very interesting topic of conversation. Have a great morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you'd like to connect with Dr. Zafar, you can check out samrazafar.com.